The Egyptian president holds a meeting at the Armed Forces headquarters in the new administrative capital. The foreign ministers of Egypt and 7 other nations welcome Hamas's response in a joint statement. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly reviews plans to boost the Egyptian exchange. President Fattah al-Sisi chaired a meeting of the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces as Egypt marked the 52nd anniversary of the October War victory. President al-Sisi congratulated the Egyptian people and armed forces on the anniversary, praising the military's role in safeguarding national security and supporting stability amidst regional and global challenges. Defense Minister Abdel Saer reviewed the Army's efforts to protect Egypt's borders and support national development projects. The president paid tribute to the fallen heroes of the October War, saying their sacrifices paved the way for the nation's strength and prosperity. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly has sent a message of congratulations to Defense Minister Abdel Saer on the 52nd anniversary of Egypt's October War victory. In his message, Madbouly extended heartfelt greetings to the armed forces, praising the heroism and sacrifices of the October generation who secured one of the Arab world's greatest victories and proved Egypt's unwavering resolve to defend its land. He prayed for the armed forces to remain a shield protecting the nation's security and supporting its development path under President Fattah al-Sisi's leadership. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry has announced that Cairo will host meetings tomorrow between Israeli and Palestinian delegations to discuss field arrangements and details of the exchange of Israeli and Palestinian detainees. The ministry added that these consultations come as part of the ongoing effort to build on the regional and international momentum generated by U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza, emphasizing Egypt's commitment to advance peace and stability through dialogue and coordination with all concerned parties. Earlier, Egypt has welcomed Hamas's response to U.S. President Donald Trump's Gaza ceasefire plan, praising the movement and all Palestinian factions for making the civilian lives a priority. In a statement by the Foreign Ministry, Egypt stated that Hamas's stance reflects a firm desire to end the dark era and move towards a Palestinian statehood. That comes as Cairo praises Trump's leadership, especially his rejection of annexation or displacement and his reconstruction plan for Gaza. Egypt urged all parties to honor the U.S. proposals, begin detailed negotiations, and advance a political path towards a two-state solution and lasting peace. A senior Egyptian security source has revealed that Israeli and Hamas delegations will begin arriving in Cairo on Sunday and Monday. The source added that this visit aims to discuss arrangements for implementing the field conditions necessary for a full detainee exchange under U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal. In a joint statement, the foreign ministers of Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have welcomed Hamas's response to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to end the Gaza war, release all detainees and begin talks on implementation mechanisms. The ministers also praised Trump's call for Israel to halt its bombardment immediately and start the exchange process, viewing these steps as a vital opportunity for a lasting ceasefire and relief to Gaza's humanitarian crisis. They reaffirmed support for efforts to ensure an Israeli withdrawal, full humanitarian access, and the return of the Palestinian Authority to Gaza and progress towards a two-state solution. Egypt has been at the heart of efforts to end the Gaza war, leading mediation, delivering vital aid and mobilizing regional and international support to stop the bloodshed and push for a lasting solution.
Since the outbreak of the war in Gaza in October 2023, Egypt has led intensive efforts from the very first moments to end hostilities and alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians. Cairo moved swiftly to deliver humanitarian aid through every possible channel and exerted consistent pressure regionally and internationally to stop the bloodshed and prevent any attempt to displace Palestinians from their land. U.S. President Donald Trump praised Egypt's leadership for its central role in shaping a plan to end the conflict, which includes ending the war and releasing Israeli detainees. He again thanked Cairo for its efforts. From the onset of the Al-Aqsa flood operation, Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed Egyptian diplomacy to intensify contacts with all relevant parties to contain the conflict. Egypt called on key international actors to intervene immediately to stop the escalation, urge Israel to halt attacks and provocations, and uphold international humanitarian law as the occupying power. Cairo hosted the Peace Summit on October 21, 2023, bringing together regional and global leaders to address the crisis. On June 10, 2024, Jordan, in coordination with Egypt, Bahrain, and the United Nations, organized an international humanitarian response conference to coordinate global action and logistics for Gaza. Egypt also convened an extraordinary Arab summit in March 2025 to discuss developments in the Palestinian cause. In parallel, Egypt maintained close coordination with Qatar and the United States to reach a ceasefire and a detainee exchange deal, while firmly rejecting any attempts to expel Palestinians or alter Gaza's demographic reality by force. Cairo has also delivered more than 70% of all aid that entered the Gaza Strip during the conflict, working through the Egyptian Red Crescent and global organizations, and opening Al Arish airport to receive assistance from around the world. Today, Egypt remains a pivotal stabilizing force, affirming that the just and comprehensive solution lies in establishing a two-state reality and ending the occupation, the only path toward lasting peace and a definitive end to the war.
Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has visited the Arab World Institute in Paris, where he met with its president, former French Culture Minister Jacques Lang. Abdulati highlighted the institute's leading cultural role in promoting Arab-French dialogue and showcasing Arab heritage as part of global civilization. He stressed culture's importance within Egypt's foreign policy as a bridge of understanding among nations and praised Egypt's deep cultural ties with France. Abdulati also toured the Cleopatra exhibition, commanding its artistic portrayal of Egypt's ancient legacy. Lang welcomed the visit, lauding Egypt's strong support for the institute and its vibrant cultural influence in France. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly reviewed efforts to prepare state-owned companies for public offerings and plans to boost the Egyptian exchange as a key platform to attract private sector investment. At a high-level meeting in the new administrative capital, Madbouly reaffirmed the government's commitment to accelerating the IPO program through collaboration between public and private financial experts, officials discussing upcoming offerings in key sectors, including telecoms, banking, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, mining, oil and gas, tourism, airports, and real estate. The meeting also addressed strategies to enhance the stock market's role in the program, including listing shares and offering stakes to strategic investors. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly has established a committee to modernize the country's media sector. The committee is tasked with drafting a roadmap to address challenges, set objectives, and ensure the sector's development, aligning with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's directives to adapt national media to global changes. The committee, led by Khaled Abdelaziz of the Supreme Council for Media Regulation, includes key media figures and experts. A detailed report with findings and recommendations is expected within 2 months, with subcommittees formed to assist in the process. The initiative aims to strengthen media's public role and ensure its future growth. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly has chaired the meeting of the main committee for the legalization of church and service building statuses, attended by several ministers and senior officials. The committee reviewed the latest assessments of the applications submitted by churches seeking legal recognition. The meeting approved the legalization of 160 additional churches and affiliated buildings, bringing the total number legalized since the committee's inception to 3,613. The committee also discussed progress on meeting civil protection requirements for previously approved churches, underscoring the government's commitment to ensuring safety standards while advancing the process of legalizing places of worship and related service facilities. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly has chaired the meeting of the Supreme Energy Council at the government headquarters in the new administrative capital, attended by several cabinet ministers and senior officials. Discussions focused on ensuring a sustainable energy supply for productive, developmental and consumer sectors, as well as progress in renewable energy projects and investment attraction. The meeting emphasized the private sector's key role in implementing Egypt's energy transition strategy. It also reviewed proposals to expand incentives for targeted industries, aligning with the government's plan to boost industrial growth, attract local and foreign investment, and localize production across key economic sectors. The head of Egypt's National Election Authority says the country is moving into a new phase of its democratic journey as it prepares for the 2025 parliamentary elections. Judge Ahmed bin Dari said Egypt's strength, resilience, and deep-rooted democratic traditions have shaped a 135-year parliamentary history with more than 30 legislative bodies. He also stressed that the authority is working at full capacity to ensure transparency, modernize voter data, and make voting accessible, including special measures for the elderly and people with disabilities. Preparations including printing ballot materials, setting up polling stations, and coordinating with ministries and banks for medical checks and campaign finance accounts, aiming to make voting a proud national experience. That's the end of our news bulletin for this hour. Here's a quick recap of today's Egypt's bulletin. The Egyptian president holds a meeting at the Armed Forces headquarters in the new administrative capital. The foreign ministers of Egypt and 7 other nations welcome Hamas's response in a joint statement. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly reviews plans to boost the Egyptian exchange. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments.